In this video, I will talk about the differences between heat and temperature. Heat and temperature refers to two different physical quantities. The heat itself is the thermal energy, and the energy transfers from one object to another object, and as a result, there is a change in temperature. So the temperature changes because of the heat energy. So remember, the heat means the thermal energy, and as there is a transfer of heat from one object to another object, there is a change in the temperature. Okay, so heat is always measured in energy, which is the unit of which is measured in joule or in calorie. So heat always transfers, and as a result heat transfer, there is a change in the temperature. So, or in other words, the way we define temperature is the average kinetic energy of atoms or molecules of a system. So for example, if you have a gas, the gas molecules, and if you change the temperature, what happens to the gas molecule? It starts vibrating more vigorously. So that means that if it starts vibrating more rapidly, that means the temperature has increased. So the higher the temperature means the molecules or the atoms inside that system is vibrating more rapidly. The higher the amplitude or the faster the molecules are moving inside a system, that means it does have a higher temperature. Okay. The heat transfer from one object to another object only because of the difference in the temperature. Okay, if there is no temperature difference, then the heat may not transfer, it will not be transferred. Heat transfer only when there is a difference in the temperature. It is the heat that transfer, and as a result there is a change in the temperature. So here I have made some diagram just to show you the similarity between the water flow and the heat flow, because it is easy to conceptualize, visualize the water flow. And then if you understand how does the water flow, then you should be able to translate that energy to the heat energy, or you should be able to understand how does the heat flow. So here I have the different vessels here. This is empty, and in this vessel A I have the water filled here, and this is this is closed here, this tap here. So once I open the tap, what happens? The water will flow from A vessel to B vessel. And why is that? The water flows from high pressure to low pressure. Or in other words, if are on the same level, then from the higher height to the lower height, because the pressure is directly proportional to rho gh. So from a higher height to lower height. Remember, the water flows from higher height to lower height, and it continues to flow from a higher level to lower level till the level difference is zero. If there is no difference in the level, then the water flow will stop. But as far as there is a difference in the height level, if there is a difference in the height level, then the water will continue to flow. Okay, and remember now, so once the water has flown, the volume of these two could be entirely different, and I'll talk about that one. So as I mentioned here, the water flows from higher height to a lower height. Exactly the same thing happens to the heat flow. The heat flows only from a higher temperature to lower temperature. So here I have two bodies, body A and body B. So here the red means this is a thermometer, here it's showing its high temperature, and this is at low temperature. And when I place them in physical contact to each other, then what happens? The heat transfer and the direction in which the heat flow will be from higher temperature to lower temperature, which is exactly equal to the higher height to the lower height. And it will continue to flow till the temperature difference is 0. That means both becomes exactly at the same temperature. And in this case, it becomes exactly at the same height. So there is a very similarity between how does the water flow and how does the heat flow. The water flow from higher pressure, or you can call from a higher height to a lower height, and it will continue to flow till there is no height difference, and heat will continue to flow until there is no temperature difference. So here are the some points I have written down. Water flows from higher pressure to low pressure, or from higher height to lower height, and heat flows from higher temperature to lower temperature. Water keeps flowing from higher pressure to lower pressure until the pressure difference is 0, or a height difference is 0. The same thing I mentioned already. Heat keeps flowing from higher temperature to lower temperature until the temperature difference is 0. The other thing, the volume of the water that is flown, or the volume of water lost from vessel A is exactly the volume of water gained by the vessel B. So if you look at from the volume of the water here, this much volume, that much volume has to be in the vessel B, or the volume of water lost by vessel A is exactly equal to the volume of water gained by vessel B. Okay, the volume of water lost by vessel A is exactly equal to the volume of water gained by vessel B. What does that mean? Again, this volume is exactly equal to the heat. So heat lost by an object A is equal to heat gained by object B. So in this case here, what is happening here, when you have a hot body and a cold body, when you place them in contact with each other, the heat flows from body A to body B, or from hotter to colder, and the amount of heat lost by the hot body is exactly equal to the amount of heat gained by the cold body. So there is a much similarity. Okay, so always remember, if it loses 20 joule of energy, then this one must gain the 20 joule of energy. That's what it exactly says. Heat lost by object A is heat gained by object B. And there is another important point here. Water flow is independent of the volume of the water in the vessel. It only depends upon the pressure or height difference. So what does this mean? So again, what does it say here? The water flow is independent of the volume. So in this case, here you have certain volume. If you had a bigger vessel here, but height is same, then this object could again flow till the height difference is 0. Okay, so it does not depend upon the how much volume you have. It only depends upon what is the height difference between the two vessels. It doesn't depend upon the volume difference. It only depends upon the height difference. The same thing happens to the transfer of heat. The amount of heat transfer does not depend upon how much heat you have. It only depends what is the temperature difference. Okay, and again, the heat continue to transfer only until the temperature difference becomes exactly equal. So I'm hopeful that that similarity between the water flow and the heat flow will be useful to understand the flow of heat. And this is it from this heat and temperature lecture. Again, if you have any questions, write down your questions in the comment section below, and do not forget to like, share and subscribe the channel.